Hello?
So we're supposed to start talking.
Probably.
Yeah, this is some of the best episode 2. Wait, why is it called Crackdown? But this is Hotline Miami.
Don't play this game.
I'm CFB. Hello.
No, I'm
I'm,
Snowfats.
I'm Duke.
And I'm Cookie.
Good start, guys.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right,
So-
so let's
yeah, go ahead.
just let's cover the biggest difference here, which is that you'll notice that CFB and I are using different masks than Cookie and Snowfats. That's because, God, how long has it been? How long has it been? Like, when
my
did you guys do
PB
this?
is like 2013, late 2013.
All right, yeah. So I guess like early 2014, mid 2014, somewhere around there, you guys rerouted the game basically. And it turns out that Brandon, whose property is Walk Fast, is the fastest mask in the game, as opposed to
knew?
Tony.
A real shot.
The funny thing is, a long time ago, I actually sat down and recorded a bunch of IL times for the early game with Brandon, and I got maybe 2 chapters in, and just gave up because it wasn't significantly faster. And now here we are.
Yeah, I timed a couple levels, but I made the mistake of using the end game time, which is
It rounds
awful.
up to the digit, so it's not very useful.
So it was bad. It was bad data, and you can just see Brandon just gets back to the car so much
Exactly.
faster.
Just need to
That's
walk.
where his real strength is that he moves faster. Would you believe it? But that's the fastest way to play the game.
Yeah,
So,
Tony. Go ahead.
No, I think I was just gonna say the same thing you were. So go ahead.
Tony mitigates a lot of randomness because you can bring a gun with you and effectively have a melee weapon, and he executes pretty much anyone instantly. So if you get a lot of knockdowns with Brandon, you're going to lose a lot of time that's pretty much out of your control. But again,
Yeah.
he moves so much faster.
Especially as Brandon, you want to make sure that any knockdowns you do get are almost all against a wall, because then you can just hit them with a melee weapon or shoot them and they still die quickly.
This level is interesting. When did you guys find the route where you go up the leftmost staircase instead of the right one?
I don't remember, but it's nice. All
I
can
remember
say.
seeing that for the first time in a webm and just being blown away because I had tried to do that before and just couldn't figure out a way to make it work.
I
It's a
used
really
to do it
sexy
with
route.
Tony, and then you bullied me into going the right route because you said it was faster.
Dude, it's faster. It's just,
Yeah, that
it's
was
relatively faster.
I think, was this game all of our first speed games, or did Snowfats and Cookie, did you run something else out of this, or was this your first speed game?
I didn't.
I run hit and run before this.
Okay. Because this was my first speed game, so I didn't really know how to actually properly do things,
No idea
Yeah,
what you were
same.
getting into.
This was mine as well, and at the time it was a much less optimized game. I think the first run of this game was, I don't know, not too long after it came out. XOSDA did a run of, I think, in a Halloween marathon or something. It was like a one-off kind of thing, and it was a pretty slow time. And then I think it was actually Piken who started running it around the same time that I did, and proved that sub 30 is literally impossible.
Yeah, unless you get deathless.
Oh,
I
of
think
course.
in terms of time, it's Exo, Laz, Piken, Duke, CFB, Snowfats, and then me.
Yeah, that's a
Something
pretty good
like
picture. You're leaving, there's a lot
Cube
of people
face.
in between. Yeah, Cube Face. God, there's
Bingo.
a ton of runners.
More
Bingo.
and
There's
more
actually,
people are getting in there now.
Also, Cookie is the audio source, in case anyone's wondering. Cookie is the top right.
You can blame
One
him
move
when
and
it
you
comes
get
to
triggered.
rumbling.
I was gonna say, damn, we're so close, but then I realized that the video resets every time.
It's really cool. You can see how Cookie absolutely destroys us in the apartment every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the first one to the car every time.
Apartment RTA is where it's at.
Yeah, I beef it on this level.
So
It's
since
painful.
we're talking about intros briefly, we're doing apartments in all of these, right? This is any percent new game plus without the chapter skip, right?
It's
Yeah.
all levels, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
your
all
your
levels.
famous category.
Oh boy, yeah, I got a lot of flack for this for a long time.
Well, it's just grav.
It's basically just grab. As always. Dude, it was a fun time. This is basically just single segment. There is a way to do this faster where you just exit out after you've cleared the level. You don't have to play these outros that Snowfats and Cookie are going into them right now, and I think so am I. And you also don't have to play the intros. You can just skip straight to the next level through the
fast,
menu.
Though. Why would you ever do that in a speed run?
Yeah, ultimately the argument for this category was that yeah, exactly.
This is the Link to the Past No Major Glitches of Hotline Miami categories.
Hey man,
this
I think that's a
70
legitimate argument. You know, you want to be playing the game when you're speedrunning it. But the thing is, none of the changes, except for maybe one we're going to be coming up on in a few chapters, really changes the game significantly.
This is a good level.
Yeah, this is a solid level. This is just straight fun. This game has a pretty diverse range of chapters. There's some like more gun-centric ones, some more melee-oriented ones, and there's quite a few that everybody is familiar with as being fucking terrible, honestly.
Yeah. The thing with this game, though, is it seems like the majority of levels are fun, and there's a couple like levels I hate. But with Hotline 2, it's like the majority of levels are awful, and then there's a couple that I like. It's like the inverse.
At least we have the editor now.
This. Yeah. But back to this. Let's not talk about Hotline 2 during Hotline 1, I guess. That'd probably be a bad idea, right?
Yeah, I mean, this
is a dark path.
This is a completely different game in its own right. It has a completely different feel. There's a lot sort of more consequence to your actions, so it's a lot easier to die than it seems. And
also,
that's really
this is a good game.
Oh yeah, that's it.
We swear this is good. You should actually play it.
Yeah. Also, Duke has a 2450, not a 2650. I'd just like to point that out.
Oh yeah, what the heck is that? I'm looking at these chapters and I'm not coming in too far behind, so.
Yeah. You just
Can we not talk about this level?
Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about when I said gun-centric chapter, because there's this first floor where your only hope is to sort of spray and pray. There are some really interesting IL strategies for this level that involve choosing like Richter or Brandon and just running into that room.
Reminder to shoot everyone on the second floor.
Yeah.
And not use the fire axe.
I forgot about that part.
But dude, the fire axe is cool and you get an achievement.
Fire axe is gay.
Friendly reminder, that's one of the most technical levels in the entire game and I love it.
Yeah, it's a really cute level with Brandon, and Snowfats has put a lot of effort into routing it, but in both our videos here, we both mess it up pretty badly.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is sad. But,
it's actually like 4 to, I think, about 6 seconds faster than the regular strategy, if you get it right. I know I didn't get it right. I'm not sure exactly how much Cookie beefed it.
This is another sick level.
Yeah,
one of my favorite ones.
This is a fun level that we don't get to play anymore in some categories. There's actually a skip here where you lure enemies outside and clip into the card using the execution animation, because the loading zone for the exit is just there. It's just kind of sitting there. You can only really do it on 2 levels, and this is one of them. And while it's an interesting skip, it kind of deprives you of playing one of the more fun levels in the game.
Yeah. Also, I find it interesting that, like, Snowfats and Cookie were really far ahead of me, like, throughout the entire thing, and then, like, I just caught up on the last floor. I couldn't really tell what it was, but I don't know
wasting
why.
it, dude.
Yo, we
That's
all
the
got
two
phone
things.
skip,
To go fast in this game, you need to move fast and you need to kill fast. And Tony kills fast and Brandon moves fast. That's why these are the 2 masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic.
Also, just want to say that those masks that keep showing up behind it are just each of the individual runners' favorite masks.
Yeah, shoutouts to Carl, dude. Alright, this is probably, like, the worst thing. Like, there are levels that suck, but IMO, this is probably the worst part of the run of the game, because there's things that are out of your control. Like, you can manipulate Biker's position, but, like, sometimes his cleaver just won't stick in the wall.
It's great.
And then you lose your run.
The way it works is he kind of swings around you. He has his own momentum for some reason, and he will attack you twice, I think, and then throw his cleaver, and that's when you strike. The thing is, he can clang off, I think it's the desk or just some of the walls.
And
it's kind of random. Yeah, corners especially. And when that happens, he just decides that he's had enough, and he runs up to you really fast and kills you, and there's no way to avoid it. So a lot of runs have been lost there.
It's really freaking cool.
Tell me about it.
Everybody has pretty fond memories of that section.
This is where the real game starts, though.
Yeah, exactly. This is Hotline really comes into its own in chapters 3 and 4. This is where the game gets legitimately difficult, and
Does a good job of
like,
ramping up.
yeah, it's a really like good part of the speedrun that the game is legitimately challenging, and it scales with how far along you are.
I remember when I was doing runs of this game religiously that I always just felt like the game wasn't really that much fun for me until I got to this part, because at least for Brandon, this part is really intense.
The second screen is pretty intense with Tony.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know
it's
something
true.
is definitely going to be hot and heavy is something that is just crazy for Brandon.
Yeah,
Hot
that
and
was
Heavy is definitely
always the most
signature level.
impressive level to watch when you're playing Brandon, and maybe Assault.
Can't wait for Assault, dude.
So I guess you should probably elaborate on that. Because Brandon can't do fast executions, one of his biggest problems is that he has a hard time dealing with knockdowns, which are really common in this game. Because enemies are known to drop their weapons into other enemies and knock them down. And there you get into a lot of situations where you have clusters of enemies getting knocked down at once, and it's very slow to deal with them one by one with Brandon.
And cops can't be knocked up against walls, so Assault is pretty problematic for Brandon.
Yeah, it's great.
If you could stop using triggering language, I'd appreciate it.
Sorry? How did I trigger you
Hello?
again? I don't even know what I said. Hello?
The P word.
Walls killed his family.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, police?
Yeah.
Oh.
Every cop in this game is white, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I got you. I feel you, fan.
All
Oh
right,
god,
really,
I'm getting triggered. No,
Really
no, I'm
enjoying
getting
this
triggered.
Crackdown leg. What's going
No!
on?
No, don't look. Oh my god, it's awful.
That's pretty
Crackdown
good.
is such a
Oh, no.
shit level. I hate it so much because on the first floor, like, there's things you can do, but there are, like, with Tony at least, it's very random on the first
Look,
floor.
I'm still on the first floor. And Duke is leaving.
Dude,
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
You should just
dude,
use
this
Tony
is my
on Crackdown.
PB.
just go back to Tony, please.
Tony's really nice on crack. I mean, even when I was doing New Game Any, and like New Game Plus Any, I mean, where I was like practicing basically every level with every mask, Tony was consistently by far the best on Crackdown, just because it's like really, you can see all the enemies like to get funneled into small areas, and he just kills them all so fast.
Oh my god,
yeah,
dude.
the first floor has a ton of issues. We've tried a lot of different routes for it, but ultimately
They all
there's just
suck.
there's no good way to deal with the first floor, especially that room on the left with 2 gun guys in it. That's just a killer.
It's a
I
shame
timed it
because-
after my run, and I lost 28 seconds. I'm sorry, Cookie, go ahead.
It's a shame that Tony's second floor is so good in comparison to Brandon's. Just
Yeah.
because he can punch, it makes such a massive difference. Like, it's like 5+ seconds most of the time.
This is a really fun level when it goes right, and when it goes wrong, it's soul crushing because you're so deep in the run.
Also the longest level, so like every time he dies, like these screens are a lot bigger than most screens are.
These are Hotline 2 screens.
Yeah, these are like, this is where the amount of enemies in the game just ramps up to 11, and you're asked to deal with things that you wouldn't be otherwise. It's also a pretty good demonstration of the strengths of Brandon because, well, he has to deal with a lot of enemies. One of his best strengths is how fast he is. He can just run through areas that would otherwise be troubling for Tony. So
Yeah.
on the second screen, for example, I think I lost a lot of time compared to Snowfats. Although we entered the screen at the same time, simply because I had to stop and pick off some enemies that would have killed me.
And it's such a big level that, you know, you're covering just a lot of ground in
Yeah,
general
level
between
finished.
screens.
Level finished, boys, where are we at?
Yo, what's up, my man?
Getting there.
Damn, watching this back made me realise how completely awful my part 3 was. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a curse in this game, which is that part 3 and part 4 you can't have both. Unfortunately, be good.
Man, I got the fat guy.
Dude, nice.
That's awful. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I've run into that quite a bit too. It's always fun.
I like this level because if you don't get a rifle on the first floor, then the second floor is just tremendously slow and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, gun luck is a huge part of this game. There's 3 guns in the game, really. Well, I guess you can count the Magnum, but the Magnum's so rare. There's the shotgun, double barrel shotgun, and the rifle, and optimally you just sort of want the rifle because even though it has a spread, it's got 24 rounds as opposed to the shotgun's like 6 shells, and the double barrel obviously only has 2.
Yeah, I made a spreadsheet for this game and it covered a lot of information, but some of the information I didn't put on there that I missed, like I just pretty much forgot to put it on there, is the regular weapons that enemies can spawn with. Because enemies can't pick up like every weapon. Like the Magnum and like the submachine guns and stuff, regular enemies actually won't pick those up. But they'll pick up the rifle, the pump shotgun, and the double barrel shotgun. So those are the only weapons that they can, well, the silent pistol as well, but those are the only weapons they can spawn with.
This is one of the only like real boss fights in the game. It's actually kind of interesting, but there's a pretty, the pattern is completely consistent, so we all do it the same way.
I actually didn't do it the same way because I didn't realize that letting him get set on fire lost time because you have to wait for him to run around and burn to death. So I just lost like
but dude,
a second and a half for no reason until Dingo was like, you shouldn't do that. Like, you just punch him. It saves time, and you can tell because just look.
Yeah, the boss is pretty set in stone. You notice me and Snowfats were almost perfectly in sync for the boss fight, so that's with Brandon at least.
Have we shouted out Dingo?
We haven't, but I wasn't planning on doing it. But shoutouts to Dingo Droll.
Yeah,
the
he's
French
one of the best.
fanatic.
The best.
I'm pretty sure he's part
beast.
robot.
The French community for this game is actually just pretty strong in general, I've noticed.
Yeah, there's a skeleton, there's a couple other dudes.
Hotline 2 has a massive one as well.
Really?
They like Hotline and they like Meat Boy.
Yeah.
We have good taste.
Shoutouts to France.
This
Moofin, if you have something
bad.
you want to say, you can just say it, dude. Hello?
Come out of the closet, Moofin. We're not going to judge you.
It's off the record. So this is Trauma. This is like the one non-standard level in the game where you're playing Metal Gear instead of Hotline. The goal is just to avoid detection as you escape through the hospital, and there's just an optimal cycle for getting in. A little known fact is that you can actually get out through the top door on the second floor. Yeah, Piken had that juicy nugget of knowledge, and it's actually slow, so nobody does it. Isn't it?
I actually didn't miss the cycle. It's just the cycle is pretty wide, and I ended up going on the later part of it because I'm bad at video games.
It's okay, I'm bad too.
Everyone here is bad, and we're all right.
Now, coming up, the level. The level that ruins every run.
There's one level between that, though.
No, this is the level.
Vengeance? No?
No, Assault.
No, Assault.
And it sucks because, like, this ruins, like, almost every run that gets to it, and then you get through it, and then the run's not over.
You guys have a reaction at this music? Like, when you start hearing this, you just start sweating?
I was listening to Pandora during my PB. I was listening to, like, alt-rock, dude.
The dad rock.
No, not quite. A little newer. It'll be dad rock in, like, 10 years.
Alright. Anyway, Assault's definitely like one of the most complex levels in the game. It's got 3 big floors filled with tons of enemies, a boss fight, and some fat guys. And basically you're just, you're making your way through doing things as efficiently as possible and baiting enemies out of rooms where it's inconvenient to go, like on the second floor. Dang, CFB's on the 3rd floor first.
This saved my run, basically.
Yeah, this is really
Crackdown.
CFB's Assault was so good.
Like, I had one fat guy got away from me, and then, like, I had to go out on my way on the first floor, but other than that, it was really, really good.
The hallmark flawless part 4.
Yeah, according to Slayer of Babies, I have a really strong part 4, and I'm glad I could show it off here today.
So we didn't explain why we're punching dudes through the wall. Yeah, anything. There's a guy named Richter in that cell, and you have to talk to him and punch him as part of the level objective. Luckily, his hitbox is close enough to the wall that you can just stand there and punch, and you'll punch him through the wall. And then you can just grab the evidence and get out of there. As I am really slowly doing.
This game is a story?
The thing with Richter is, like, because he walks back and forth, like, if you miss the cycle, you lose, like, 7 seconds, even if you get there 1 second late, because you have to wait for him to walk away and walk back. So it really puts a lot of pressure on you to get there at the earliest possible cycle, which is part of the reason why it's so hard. And then you have this level.
Yeah, Vengeance is another tough level. It's pretty, very interesting ways of doing this. The second floor has always been fun. I really like the way that Cookie and Snowfats are doing it. I think that was like a route change that came up while we were still using Tony.
Yeah, it's so much better than what we did in RPVs, and I'm sad we didn't think of it.
To be fair, we should mention that these PBs don't necessarily reflect the grinding that we did afterwards, because I think we both played this game for a while after this without PBing.
Yeah, I had a few runs that were like minus 15 to minus 20 after AGDQ, and then they just all died in Assault.
True that. This game is pretty unreliable. It's really easy to lose a run to any number of things, whether it's enemy behavior, gun luck, or just, your own skill.
Another important thing about Brandon walking faster is as the game progresses, the levels tend to get larger and larger, and there's more and more of a walk out.
Yeah, so you can see that Cookie actually beat me to the car, even though he was 2 or 3 seconds behind on killing the fat guy. Just because of how much walking there is to do in this game.
Literal walking simulator. I feel when you hiccup as soon as you open your mic.
This is another boss fight. This is probably like the only real boss fight in the game.
Reminder to not lock on.
Yeah, that is you never lock on.
I thought Duke was lying until I locked on in a quote-unquote world record pace run, and my knife just missed, and I was like, well, there it goes.
Yeah. What was the problem with that? It's like that you can miss with the knives sometimes.
Yeah, you can just miss.
I think it's that you lock on to his head, but you're actually throwing the knife at his wrist. So if you're locked onto his head at certain angles, you'll be throwing the knife through the center of his arms, which is completely pointless.
Yeah, like if you're standing in the wrong spot, it just goes through them.
This is always a nice just moment of contemplation where you can think about how much you're going to choke in the epilogue.
Yeah, this is like, I'm on a run, I still have to execute.
This is when you need to start just tweeting it out like crazy.
Yeah.
You can see that I'm like 2 seconds ahead of Snowfats here, which is a good spoiler for what's about to happen to my run at the end.
I'm so sorry.
I was like, the entire time I was watching that, dude, I was like, how is Cookie's run like slower than mine? And then I got here and I felt pain with you.
Yeah, things can very easily go wrong in this section of the game. Biker plays completely differently than Jacket. He can't pick up melee weapons, and his only ranged option is he has 3 throwing knives. So, but you can collect those is the good thing. But only if they hit a wall, not if they hit an enemy. So you effectively only have 3 kills at range.
But this is just such a tricky part of the game because you have no warm-up with Biker. You're playing with Jacket for 20 minutes, and it's just, here's a completely different playstyle. Don't screw it up.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that the next level is full of cheap tricks and can really screw you over with RNG.
Or, you can crash as you go up the staircase.
This game used to be really, really unstable for a lot of reasons. Crashes were pretty frequent, especially going into Assault. And so there have been a lot of really good runs of this game just lost to crashes. But luckily that was only really in its first year of being run.
Yeah.
Something I just want to say about this, like the actual play on this level real fast, is that Cookie and I saw go up the right side, and that's safer than going up the left side, but the left side is a little faster. However, now that I've kind of learned about, you can hide behind, between some of the arcade cabinets and stuff like that, the left side's a lot safer. So we both wasted time here.
There is a small spot where I think one of the arcade cabinets sticks out a little bit than the others, and it's possible to break line of sight or something.
I got that in my new game NEPB. I was about to get shot and I just duck inside.
You have such little time to react, though. It's so rough.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
it really is. It doesn't help that there's an enemy on that floor who kind of just roams in the top rightmost room, and he has an eagle eye for some reason. You have to make a really tricky throw at him and hope that he doesn't move or shoot you in that period, and you're exposed for a lot of it.
Or you just wander in the left room and just kill you, and you can't
Oh,
get
yeah,
behind the
that's
machines. Like, also coming up here, there was a skip that was kind of like explained like after me and Duke got our PB, and Snowfats is gonna try and get it and miss it, and Cookie's gonna get it, and then me and Duke don't even try and do it. So you're gonna see like the time difference.
Yeah, watch this time save.
Damn, dude, you almost had that. That was really close.
I remember mentioning during my run that I hadn't practiced it for like at least a month before this, so that I was not surprised if I missed it.
Yeah,
Grind
the way
monkey
it
syndrome.
works is that for a long time we were trying to figure out, you can knock down Jacket and you do an execution over him. What if you just knocked him into the wall so that you clipped through it? And it turned out there was a specific angle that worked, that you have to sort of swing him around ever so slightly into the wall, because he has momentum a little bit, like Biker in the Biker fight.
And like if you knock him too far into the wall, like I don't think you can execute him. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the game's
Yeah.
off locks and the run's over.
Yeah.
Got stuck on the wall out.
Some movement's impossible. Cookie is the god of like just movement through safe areas, dude. He beat us like almost every time.
I think Muffin mentioned there was like one time where his like regular movement through the safe areas wasn't better than ours. Past that, it can just show how there's little time saves everywhere that you can get.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah, or you
literally
can just get
one-
really lucky and get all assault rifles everywhere.
That too. You know what? That's honestly the thing that kept me interested in this game for so long, was that there's an element of luck, but it's really never overrides the element of skill.
Yeah, it's a really nice balance.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of room for just improvising and doing things however you want to. Obviously, there are certain places where you've got to follow a set route, but there's also a lot of room for enemies to do something slightly different, so you've got to react and so on.
Keeps you on
Yeah.
your feet the entire time.
You have to react in this game. Like that's just a fact.
But yeah, that was pretty good, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Anytime.
No problem.
If you guys
Moving
have any, if you have any shout outs or any last people you want to mention or things you want to mention, now
Yo,
we'll
shout
try
out
to
to
do it.
CyberDemon531.
Hey, hang on, I'm gonna get a list up here that I wanted to read.
Oh god.
It's called speedrun.com. It's gonna list off every hotline runner.
Yeah, do it.
I'm not gonna do hotline 2 because that's just, I can't even
Yeah,
imagine
just do
why
Hotline
someone would
1.
do that.
Just do Hotline 1.
And there will be links in the description, stuff like that, as put in by the runners here.
New game plus all levels. Let it load. Snowfats, Cookie, CFE, Duke, Bilgewater, Jackintosh, Buffet Time, Freon Pro, Cube Face, Lareth, the Brictator, D374TP, Erudito, Jabin _ BC Slav, Jobetti, Genorio, Bjortonieri, Taranensis, I don't know, Myths, Dum Dum Dagon, Ernstein, X Mido, X Zion I, Mikolau 7, Zen _ Ivan, Metal Llama, Wildaman, Wally Aldo, and also shoutouts to a few other ones. Obviously, Dingo Joel. I'm sure we mentioned him beforehand. Skeleton. Did we say Brictator? I don't remember.
Yeah, you
No,
did.
we didn't.
You got him.
I didn't.
You got him in that list.
Mag from Moralitor, Zach, Shouting. I don't even know what that guy's name is. Jimmy
Shout outs to
Wagner.
that one Rhino furry, wherever he is now.
You already said him. He got name dropped already.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I don't even remember that dude's name.
It was Larathan.
Also,
Thank you
shoutouts
for
to
playing.
Muffin for making this possible.
Yeah, shoutouts to Muffin.
Thanks, Muffin.
Shoutouts to the Snowboard Kids crew.